Hello, and welcome to this session on everything you need to know about Kobo for the Right Women Book Fest. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to make it in person, but really happy that I'm able to have this kind of virtual discussion with you guys. So I hope you enjoy. My name is Tara Cremin, and I'm the director for Kobo Writing Life for English language. And you can often find me, as this picture is, with my head in a Kobo. So I'll be leading this sort of chat today. And here's my details. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me at tara.cremin@rakuten.com. And I want to go over the agenda for today's session. So we're going to have a little overview about what Kobo is all about. If you're not familiar with who Kobo is, I want to show you our latest e-readers as we're continuing to innovate all the time, how to reach readers with Kobo Writing Life, and some best practices for wide authors, and then finally finishing with what's new and coming next. So to get started, you might be wondering where the connection with Rakuten and with Kobo is. So Rakuten is our parent company that is celebrating 25 years in existence, which is quite a milestone. And it is a company that's based out of Japan, but has different subsidiary companies all over the world. And here's just a little snapshot about where we're located. So it really does encompass everything that you can imagine. It's available in 30 countries and regions with 1.6 billion global members. So that's billion, which is really incredible, and offers 70 plus services. So this wheel just sort of gives you a little overview of the services that are available worldwide through Rakuten. And where Kobo fits into this is that we're in as part of their digital content area. So we power their ebooks and their audiobooks. So that's the role that we play within this larger ecosystem. So Kobo stands for books. Quite literally, it's actually an anagram of the word book, if you weren't familiar. So we're very much about the e-reading experience and making it the best that it can be. We like to think of ourselves as your favorite local bookshop, but perfected. We want to bring you a personalized experience through the digital means, and we want to make sure that we're really empowering readers because we really are just book lovers like you. And we do believe that stories shape who we are, and words can enhance and transform the world around us. And as such, we have a lot of different reading apps available for users for free. You can read on our iOS or Android apps. So it's just in one easy area that you can read both ebooks and audiobooks. And we also have super points to really reward a love of reading. So our customers can gain loyalty points. So the more that they read, the more loyalty points that they'll earn. And they can use these to then purchase their next book. So we just really, really want to reward people that are the dedicated readers in our ecosystem. And we create e-readers for everyone. So we like to think that we make some of the most innovative e-readers in the world. They're award-winning, really sort of first in class. And we even have waterproof models, so you can use them in the bath or in the pool without having to worry. And I just wanted to highlight like two of our sort of main, our newest e-readers that are sort of very unique in their in what they're offering. So first up, we have the Kobo Sage, which is just an awesome e-reader. It has an 8-inch screen with a Comfort Light Pro. And what was really innovative about this, which was our first smaller design with the Comfort Light Pro that had audiobooks and ebooks, and it also includes compatibility with the Kobo stylus. So that means that you can actually take notes on this e-reader. You can integrate it all with Dropbox. It's super easy. So as authors, perhaps this is just something that might appeal to you to share files with your editors. So you can actually mark up your EPUBs, you can mark up the books and then share them back and forth. You can also just use it as a notebook. I like to use mine at work all the time to take notes. I enjoy that it captures my doodles, and it also has automatic note to text capabilities. So it's just really, really awesome. So it's just sort of three main features with an e-reader that's just super, super duper. And then our latest e-reading device, the Kobo Clara 2E, is our second generation most popular device, which is the Kobo Clara. And what is different about this one is that the exterior is made with 90% recycled and ocean-bound plastic. It's something that's really important to us to make sure that we're sort of being sustainable when we're making these devices. And we really have proud of the device that we've brought out. Not only that, but it's also waterproof. So I believe it's waterproof up to 2 meters. So you can actually not worry about dunking this. Read while you're by the pool or while you're in the bath. And it also has the capability of allowing users to listen to audiobooks. So you can access your audiobook library and your ebook library all in one place. You can connect to your Bluetooth headphones, or you can connect it to your Bluetooth speakers as well. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of the Kobo Clara. So, Kobo Writing Life stands for writers. It is your platform to get your books onto the Kobo ecosystem and make them available to Kobo and to our partner sites. I like to share this quote from Kobo CEO Michael Tamblyn. This has come from a Kobo Writing Life podcast interview that if you haven't listened to at all, I would urge you to. He really tells us why Kobo Writing Life was created and just why we appreciate indie authors so much and know that they are a core factor of our business. So what he says is that what gets me so excited about working with the indie author community is that no one's more willing to jump on a new way of doing things if it means that they can put another book in someone's hands. And I love that. And I echo the sentiment that we do really appreciate that indie authors are often the most innovative. They're the first to try things. They're not afraid to do it if it'll get their books out there. And that's one of the reasons why we just love working in this community. So you can publish your books on Kobo Writing Life in 4 easy steps. The first one is to just create an account, and you can do this at kobo.com/writinglife. Number 2, you can upload your file. We convert to EPUB file, but you can upload a Word doc and it'll convert to your file for free. And the third step is to publish. So you can upload both ebooks and audiobooks and publish those really easily. And then the last step, probably the most important, is the promoting to your readers. So it's easy to think that everything is over once you've published, but we want to make it easy for you to promote to make sure that you're finding the readers that are out there for your books on Kobo. So what makes us different to the other platforms that are available? I think the main thing really is that there's no exclusivity required with publishing through Kobo Writing Life. It's sort of against our ethos. We really want to make sure that your books are in front of as many readers as possible. So we don't want to kind of try and restrict that in any way. So we're not going to ask you for exclusivity. And this is the same for ebooks and for our audiobooks that we offer too. So you'll be able to publish these on Kobo and on all the different platforms. We're a small team with a big vision, and we really, really are fully embraced into this community. And you get access to this team when you do publish with Kobo Writing Life. I'll talk about that a little bit better about a little bit later, some of the features for the team. But just to say that we're really wanting to see you succeed, and we acknowledge that this is a partnership. We only succeed when you succeed. And we really have a global reach. I wanted to highlight that because sometimes it's easy to just think within a North American market for digital reading, but we really are available all over the world, and you'll see where authors are selling their books through Kobo. So this is just a little snapshot of the KWL map. If you search the hashtag KWL map on Twitter, you'll see these pop up. So it just really just shows you the scope of customers that are available to you. I think it's Joanna Penn has probably highlighted the most countries. She's in English, sold books in 162 countries through Kobo Writing Life. So the dots indicate where the sales are throughout the world, and then the larger the dot indicates that there's more sales in those areas. But we just love when people share this. You can see there that Skye McKinnon has said that she's found the map really inspiring and wants to travel to where all of her readers are. So we really enjoy showing authors that their books are being read all over the world. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. You want to have a global mindset when you're publishing on Kobo. So again, we want you to reach readers wherever they are and however they want to read. And as such, I've broken down the readership on Kobo into 4 different buckets. So we have your reader who is reading digitally, probably owns an e-reading device, and they are used to purchasing. They're probably a really avid reader. Maybe they are a VIP reader, and they probably have a lot of super points with us that they're using for their books, and they're following their favorite authors. And then the next type of reader we have is the listener, the person that actually prefers to consume their stuff through audiobooks. Maybe it's because they like to do things while they're reading, but they don't want to miss out on that story. We find the listeners are more multitasking. Maybe they're driving somewhere, walking the dog. So we have a number of ways that you can reach these listeners as well. Next, we have our subscribers. So these are also a different type of reader. So your subscriber is going to pay up front for sort of an all-you-can-eat model. So for Kobo, we have Kobo Plus. So what we've noticed with readers that are part of the Kobo Plus platform is that they're probably more driven by genre and the feel of a book. They don't really want to think too much about their next read. They just want to have something similar to what they've already read and vibe. So as such, there is sort of an overlap between the subscriber and the traditional reader in the sense that they probably do own an e-reader as well. But it's a different type of reader. They're a bit more willing to try a new author if it's similar, whereas our readers are a bit more patient. They're dedicated to their authors and they want to wait for the new books to come out. So subscribers are really consuming much more quickly. And then finally, we have your borrower, because with Kobo, you have access to Overdrive. So all of our Kobo e-readers have Overdrive integration built into them. Overdrive is actually a former sister company. It used to be owned by Rakuten as well. And that gives us sort of a great synergy between these two companies. So all readers have to do with their e-readers is enter their library card and they're able to start borrowing books. And I think that's a really, really great area for an author to get their books in front of. Librarians are really one of the key recommendation engines for books. And I think it's really key as a wide author for your books to be available to the libraries. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So one thing that is a real differentiator also is the promotional opportunities that we offer. And these are just for Kobo Writing Life authors. So if your books are on Kobo, but through a different means, these aren't going to be as available to you. That's just because our team are really dedicated to making the Kobo Writing Life authors and kind of the most successful they can be and spotlighting these wherever possible. So we have a promotions tool that's available in your account. If you don't see it, you just have to email the team and ask for access. If you email us at writinglife@kobo.com, we'll enable this for you. The reason that it's not available to everyone is just because we are such a global company and a lot of our promotions are English language centric, and we have authors all over the world. So it's just something that we sort of switch on for our English authors when they ask for it. And then it's just there for you to use at your ease. We update on a weekly basis. I would recommend, I mean, if you have the time to go in once a week and check what promotions are there, or just set yourself a reminder to go in and check the tool every couple of weeks, at least once a month, to really see what promotions fit your books and your marketing schedule and see if there's any overlaps and let us know. And we also do a lot of percentage off promotions. And this means that you don't need to do any price changes. As wide authors, we understand that when you're doing price changes, it can be a little bit complicated to try and align all of the retailers for the same time. So we want to make this as easy as possible. So with a percentage off promotion, the discount actually gets applied at the checkout after the fact. So you don't have to do anything. So the customers receive a promo code and they can enter it and then it discounts there. So it's sort of the easier option. We do offer price change promos as well, but we try and balance both of them to make sure that there's a real broad array of offerings for the authors. And we can also custom promo codes for you. Those are available if you request them. And this is both for ebooks and audiobooks. So if you wanted to offer sort of a reward for signing up to your newsletter and offer 10% off your book or 100% off of your book, we can do that for you. It's completely customizable, meaning it can last as long as you'd like. It can be one book, it can be 100 books. It's totally up to you, and we can make them no problem. So that's something to keep in mind. So maybe you're trying to build your mailing list. It can be used as a really good reader magnet. And here's a quick overview about how our promotions tool works.
You publish your book on Kobo Writing Life. Now it's time to let people know. Kobo Writing Life has a promotional tool that can help your book gain visibility. This tool gives you the opportunity to participate in on-site sales and promotional emails, such as Buy More, Save Mores, Daily Deals, and more. Firstly, if you don't see the Promotions tab in your dashboard, give our author care team a quick email at writinglife@kobo.com, and they'll enable it for you. Some promotions have an upfront cost like this one, and some have an additional COGS reduction, which means that you give up a percentage of the money you earn during the sale. Our most common percentage fee is 10%. We update the promotional opportunities on a weekly basis, so keep an eye on this tab. When you found the right promotion for you, click the Get Started button. The description will outline all the things you need to know about this promotion. Please make sure to read the description carefully. You'll also see the dates for the promo and eligibility rules. Scroll down and pick your book that fits and click the date you'd like. Enter the promo prices in the Set the Price section. Keep in mind that the default price doesn't mean regular price. It's just the price of the book in the country you live in. If this promotion is being advertised in your country, input a promo price in the default price field. Then enter all the other required prices. When you've filled out all the details, click Submit. Your submission gets sent to our merchandising team who approve or reject the promotions. If your book is rejected, don't be dismayed. There's a lot of competition for promotions and feature spots can be limited. We encourage you to keep applying. If your book is approved and an upfront payment is required, a payment link will be included in the email. When the promotion begins, you'll get an email letting you know all the details. Be sure to let your readers know. If you have any questions, email our dedicated author care team at writinglife@kobo.com. Happy writing!
So I wanted to give you a look at some of the promotions that we were talking about in that tutorial. So we have the first in series here. You'll see all of our free areas and our sci-fi fantasy pick. Our free page is completely curated by Kobo Writing Life titles, and we update each week. Free first in series is not slowing down as a means to entice readers in, and we do see good read through these books. And then we also have daily book deals. That's probably our most popular one, and you'll see those available a couple of times a month. And then I just wanted to show as well that whenever you're discounting, we're actually displaying this on the website as well. So we're trying to let the reader know whenever there's a discount to really make sure that it's enticed there. So if you see the bottom right-hand corner there is just showing that that book has a 60% off discount. So again, just really, really trying to grab the eye of the reader within our store. And this is what it looks like on the promotion side for authors. And one thing I really wanted to highlight here is that we have a comment box available. So if you're entering a promotion, it'd be really great if you could give us some information about the book. So perhaps you're moving wide for the first time. That's super important for a merchandising team to know. So we already know that you have readers on other platforms, but now we want to help you build your readers on Kobo. So I would definitely let us know that. You could tell us if this has a new cover. Perhaps it's the first time you're ever discounting this book. Maybe you have a book bub and that's why you're applying to the free page. You want to tie in the book bubs. They're all really important for us to know. And they just really help your chances of getting picked for the promotion that you're applying to. If you're not getting picked, I really wouldn't take it too personally. A lot of the time it is sheer volume. You know, we are limited with the spots that we have available, and we do our best to try and spotlight as many authors as possible. But unfortunately, we do have to reject some. So my advice would always be to just be patient. If anything, the best thing that you're doing is you're putting your books in front of the people that should be seeing them. So even if they're not taking them, you know, your covers will start to become familiar. So I really wouldn't be dismayed. I just encourage you to keep applying. And we also have direct audiobook upload with Kobo Writing Life. So this is also something that if you don't see within your account, you just send us an email and we'll enable this for you. I think the biggest thing with audiobooks is that we're not asking you for exclusivity. So like I mentioned earlier, you can publish your audiobooks on as many platforms as possible in addition to publishing on Kobo. We process everything in-house, so it means that we have a turnaround time of about 24 hours, which is very, very quick. The audiobook market, due to the size of the files, it can take some time for books to get published and distributed. So it's really important, I think, that we can offer this really quickly with people that are coming direct. We offer you pricing in up to 16 currencies. It's the same pricing that's available for your ebooks, and you have complete control over the pricing. You can set a book for free if you'd like. We also do pre-orders without any date limitations. So you can set a pre-order as far ahead as you like. Obviously, we recommend staying realistic with your pre-order dates. You don't want to disappoint your readers if they see that this book is not available for 5 years or something like that. But it's completely for your control to set these dates and set these pricing. We wanted to make sure that we made this as easy as possible and gave as much flexibility to the authors as we could. And something that's been really key with this is that we've been building up our audiobook promotions. And while these aren't quite in the promotions tab yet, we're hoping to integrate that in the future. But in the meantime, we actually have a mailing list specifically for audiobook promotions. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can just email the team at writinglife.com and make sure that you're on the mailing list. And that means that you'll receive any updates when a promotion is occurring. What's unique with our audiobooks too is that we're giving you customizable social assets. So this is something that you can share online. You can kind of just use our asset and our template and include your book in it. So it's just something to try and make it easier again to make your listeners aware that you have a promotion going on with Kobo. And we do update these promotions pretty regularly. We have a permanent buy more, save more sale for romance audiobooks. So what a buy more, save more means is that it's a number of books together. And, probably one of the most common is 3 books for the price of 2. So how it works is that each book gets discounted a little bit. So not one author is taking the hit. And then it's sort of a great way for a cross-promotional area. We usually do them by genre. The audiobook one, the readers have been really responding to the romance one, which is why we have that available. And again, we can make promo codes for you, even for your audiobooks, if that's something that you're interested in as well. And what I'm here to talk probably the most about and most excited about is Kobo Plus, which is Kobo's subscription platform that I alluded to a little bit earlier. Again, there is no exclusivity. So it is a very similar to a lot of the other subscription models that are available out there. It's a revenue share model. And then, but the main difference here is that you're getting paid by the minute that your book is being read. So that might seem a little unusual, but we actually find that it's the sort of easiest way for us to treat ebooks and audiobooks exactly the same. And it also reduces any chance of gamification in the system that sort of has happened with other platforms. So you're actually getting you're getting paid by the time that your book is being open and is being read. Which I think it's been a really great way to track the readership so far. So how the revenue share model works is that in each geo that we're in, every month we take the whole amount of subscribers, their subscription earnings or payment from those geos, and that gives us sort of what we call a revenue share pool. So then what we do in that geo is that we divide that pool by the total number of minutes that has been read in that month. And this gives us what we have as the value per minute. And then the value per minute is multiplied by the number of minutes that your book has been read, and then multiplied again by 60%, which is your take home of this. So it's sort of a great way to get your books in front of a whole new audience. If you're already publishing wide, I don't see why you wouldn't go in. We haven't seen reports of any sort of cannibalization. I know that's always a concern. But in the couple of years that we've had this available, it really is just adding to the overall author revenue as a whole. And we built this out again with wanting to give authors as much control as possible. So you can opt your books in and out at any time. I'd obviously encourage you to keep your books in to make sure that you're not disappointing your readers by pulling them out. But you do have the option to remove them anytime that you'd like. You can also select the specific territory. So you can see in this list here on the right-hand side that that's all of the areas that were available. So our main English geos are Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And then our European geos are Belgium, the Netherlands, France, Italy, and Portugal. And that's not to say that there's not reads in English in those areas. I have authors telling me all the time that their Dutch Kobo Plus numbers are really, really strong. So that's just how I'm splitting them in my mind between English and non-English. But again, with giving authors the control, if you only wanted to try the English geos, or the opposite, maybe you just want to try the other geos, we've had authors report getting a la carte sales in the Netherlands that they probably never would have had before entering Kobo Plus. So if you're publishing wide and you're publishing globally, I'd encourage you to opt your books in. If you wanted to opt them in bulk, you can email the team at writinglife@kobo.com and we can do that for you. Otherwise, you can opt them in the rights and distribution section of your book. And then again, just to highlight that it really does increase the overall author revenue. This screenshot here is an example of an account with the orange yellow color is representing ebook sales a la carte, just meaning sales one at a time. And then the blue is actually the revenue that's coming in from the subscription platform. So you can see here that it is growing and sort of dominating in a lot of months there. So I do think that if you're not opting into Kobo Plus, you're leaving money on the table. So I'd encourage you to at least try it out for a couple of months and make sure that your books are there and that they're available. And the libraries is another area that we're super passionate about. Grace Burrows wrote us a really great blog post where she said that if she could focus on one means of discovery, she'd focus on libraries. I mentioned earlier that I think that librarians are really the best booksellers out there. Who doesn't trust a librarian? They really are key to getting your books in front of readers. So with Kobo Writing Life, you can easily opt your books into Overdrive system. It's in the same rights and distribution section. You'll see it just right by Kobo Plus in your books there. So it's a very easy opt-in. There's no aggregator fee, so you earn 50% on every sale. So you might be wondering, why would you opt in through Kobo Writing Life and not somewhere else? It's because we have a really, really great royalty structure for you. You earning 50% is really awesome for libraries. So all you have to do to opt into your library is to set your promotion to set your library price. You can set this in USD. So if you're not too sure what sort of pricing to do with a library, you really have to think about a digital book just as you would like a physical book. So it is something that is going to get loaned out multiple times, and as such, you do want to increase your price so it doesn't really necessarily match your ebook price. We tend to recommend that you want to price along the market of a mass market paperback. And if you're a bit worried about pricing higher, the librarians actually have two options for purchasing your book. So they can purchase what we call one copy, one user, and that means they can purchase your book. So in this example here, it's $19.99. So they could purchase your book, and then that book is loaned out as long as they have the book in their catalog, and then you receive 50% of that sale. But if they wanted to take a chance on an author, maybe they didn't know, maybe somebody has come in and asked specifically for an author, they also have the option of a cost per checkout, which means that they can buy the book for a one-time loan at 10% of that library price. So that means the librarians can buy one book to be loaned out one time from this example at $1.99. So I wouldn't be too worried about setting a library price, because the librarians, you don't have to do anything. All of this is available. The magic happens in the back end. So it's all available to you just by setting the library price there. And a fun fact is I think it's about 25% of our sales through Overdrive are demand driven. So that means that people are asking for these books from the authors. So I think it's really key to be able to offer this cost per checkout model for librarians to take a chance, because more often than not, they buy a book for the lower price, or maybe they buy it a couple of times, and if they keep getting the requests, then they're going to go again and buy that copy that can be loaned out for at the higher price. So yeah, and we also have promotional opportunities available for libraries. It's not in the tool again, it's very similar to audiobooks. So it is a separate mailing list where we have promotional opportunities, and these get sent out to the librarians where they can access them. So sometimes it's sort of a seasonal overdrive promotion. There's like an end of year extravaganza, I think, happening. But we also do genre specific ones that are just exclusive promotions for Kobo Writing Life authors. So you don't want to miss out on those. So I wanted to go over a couple of best practices that in my sort of 10 years of working on Kobo Writing Life, this comes from frequently asked questions, some common mistakes that we see authors do, and just some advice that I thought might be really helpful to you. So the number one is to really embrace metadata. You really want to make friends with metadata. It's super important because it is essentially what is selling your book. You know, a digital book, nobody can pick it up and flip through it and see how it is. So what you have is your metadata, like making sure your metadata is accurate and clean is very, very important to digital book selling. So this is showing what it looks like on the author side when you're entering your when you're creating a new book. So the very first step is describe your ebook. And this is where you're going to enter all of your metadata. So what I mean by metadata is your title, your subtitle. It's any sort of detail that's telling the customer about the book. So it also includes the author name and the synopsis, the categories that you're choosing, things like that. So one thing that's really key is making sure that you're entering the series name for your book and that you're entering it exactly the same for every single book in that series. Because if you're entering, so in my very lovely series name here is the Death or Data series. So if I perhaps missed and I made book 2 just Death or Data series, our system's going to have a hard time linking those together because it needs to be absolutely the same. So I think that's really key. You want to just double check that you're not double spacing, that there's not a typo or anything. So your series name should be the same throughout all of your books in that series. And then I think it's also really important to include the volume number because if you don't include the volume number, we will still link the series on our store. But what the volume number allows us to do is to know when somebody has finished, say, book 1, we're going to prompt them into book 2 because we really want to upsell that next title and make sure that they're kind of finding their next great read. So it's really important that you include that. You can include a 0 for any prequels that you have, and perhaps you have a novella or anything like that. We do include 0.5 as well for those numbers. It just has to be a numeric value in this field. So this is just showing you then how this is being displayed on our store. So you can see that it's sort of showing you immediately that it's book 1 because of the volume number that was entered. And something that is new this year as well is that we've actually added an area where customers can actually enter a series and they have the option of searching specifically by the series itself. So not only in the results can they see the titles, author names, and series, the title and author name, they can also now see the series too, because we do know that a lot of readers are really voracious readers of series. So we want to make sure we're making it as easy as possible to find. So you can see here on the product page that there'll be a more in this series section at the bottom. And this is why it's really key to make sure you've got your numerical values there, because you'll see that we're going to show this in the order so that the customers can really access each book in the series. Oh, and something that is missing that I thought was in the slide, but is not. We actually have an add series to cart option now. So a customer has the option of including a whole series in their shopping cart right away. So without the metadata telling us what the series is, none of these features that we're trying to do to sell your book on the store will be available. So say if you forgot to include the series for book 3 and somebody added the whole series to cart, they're not going to see it. And that's just why it's super important. The next thing to know is that if you're writing in a book series, you should definitely be considering bundles. Bundles or box sets are very, very popular with Kobo readers. They really like them, and we do a lot of work around sort of making sure we're spotlighting this content as best we can. So a couple of best practices about bundling your books. So when should you bundle them? I would advise to maybe bundle once you have three books in a series. It depends on what your marketing plan is. You don't want to start discounting your books too soon. But if you have a very long series, you can bundle the first couple of books together. But if you're just starting out, you don't necessarily want to bundle two books together if you only have two books in that series, because you want to make sure that you're building your readership first. So I definitely would wait until you have at least three books in a series. Three books also seems to be the sort of sweet spot with bundles. It seems to be what people go for. But I would say it depends on the story. We see duos being bundled all the time, and we also see sort of very large box sets being bundled as well. So I think whatever it makes sense for you. One thing to keep in mind is that it should be kind of a new book cover to make sure that it's very clear that your book is a bundle. If you're making a 3D book set, a book cover, just make sure that your background isn't plain white, because that'll get lost in our store. So I'd treat your book cover for a box set almost like an ad for your series. So like, how are you enticing the readers to get this book? So I definitely would recommend creating a new book cover, and also make sure that your book file itself is easy to navigate. Because if you're making some of these larger series, you want to make sure that the table of content is really clear and that the reader can definitely browse back and forth from it. It's just something to consider. You just don't want to throw the books together. You should just make sure that the table of content is really accessible. And then just a reminder that when you publish on Kobo, we don't have any upper price cap. So any books that are priced above $2.99, you're earning 70% on every sale. So we often see authors have mega box set bundles with sometimes 10 or 12 books. And then they can price them at a high price point and then earn 70% on those sales. Kobo readers tend to view box sets in terms of convenience rather than it being a great sort of discounted deal. So they're kind of willing to sometimes pay a little bit more because they like to have all of the books in just one easy place. So that's something to keep in mind, that there's no upper price cap. So we often also have authors that sometimes just have box sets that are just for Kobo because they want to take advantage of that 70%. And we promote these box sets as best we can. So pretty regularly, you'll see in the promotions tab that we'll have a promotion just for box sets. They're often like a buy two, get one. So you don't really have to discount them. So it's all done through the promo code, like I mentioned. And these are some of our best performing promotions that you'll see. Readers again, just really, really love these box sets. And these are some examples of really interesting covers for box sets as well. So you can see that there's no plain white background. The CJ Archer ones on the top there, they have a really good feel of the books. And then there's sort of the different box sets beneath that there, but they're all slightly different in how they're displaying it. So I would recommend getting creative with your box set covers and ensure that it's very clear that it's a box set, and that that you're not losing anything like your author name or anything like that. You want to make sure that it's very, very clear. And I talked a little bit about this at the beginning when I shared the KWL map, but we very much are a global company. We do sell into over, I think, 190 countries in any given day, all over the world, which I believe is basically all of the countries in the world. So you want to have a global mindset when you're publishing on Kobo. And what I mean by this is to make sure that you're setting global pricing. So you don't want to just set your list price and let it manually convert. Unfortunately, we don't do this for you, which I would love and we're working on. But we do suggest a rounding up price for your main currencies that are available. I would make sure to manually round up in those key geos. So for example, if you're in the US and you're setting your book price at $5.99, that might convert to something like $6.78 Canadian. And Canada is our biggest market. So not only are customers sort of less inclined to buy books that are not rounded, you're also just like earning out in those little bit of sales. So I would definitely round that up to like the $6.99 mark, or whatever the appropriate is for your book pricing. So we're so attuned and sort of driven by either a 99 or 49-cent price point ending. You'd be surprised how often customers would sort of not purchase a book that is potentially listed at 8.56, because they are sort of suspicious about this unusual price. So I definitely would take the time. I would set them in all currencies that are available, but I know that that can be a little bit time consuming. So you should at least set it in the main geos of ours. So I'd recommend making sure that your currency is rounded up and really attractive in USD, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, New Zealand dollars, your euro, and your Great British pound. So those 6 currencies are sort of the top ones. And then consider some of the other ones as well. So for example, if you have French translations, you want to make sure you're including the euro price, but also don't forget about your Canadian, because we have our Quebecois readers here. But there's also the option to enter Swiss franc. So you want to make sure that you're making sure that you're hitting up all those currencies where there could be readers. And the same, if you have Spanish translations, you want to make sure that you're setting the price for Mexico as well. So it's just as attractive as possible. So, what is coming next? We are always up to a lot at Kobo. And if you want to make sure that you're kind of hearing from us, we have a newsletter that you can sign up for, or just keep an eye on our socials. But I can give you a little sneak peek about what's coming up at the moment. So what we are working on right now is a brand new author dashboard. So we have live analytics at the moment, but what we lack is actually integrating in the audiobook sales for authors. So now in our new dashboard, you'll be able to see ebooks and audiobooks all together. We have a quick overview stats at the top there that really just give you a glance at your performance. And probably the most sought after feature is that this includes your pre-order numbers. So authors really want to know how a book is doing on any given day. So you'll be able to see that for your ebooks and for your audiobooks. And one feature that we added as well is that it's all of this is also downloadable to a CSV or an Excel file. So you can actually download this data without having to wait for the monthly invoice that gets sent into the payment information of your account. So we're really excited for authors to see this new dashboard. We're beginning to roll it out, and it should sort of be available to everyone very soon. And then what we're working on after this is integrating our Kobo Plus numbers into the dashboard too, to just really give you a perfect 360 view of how your sales are actually doing on Kobo. And we want to let you know how everything is going, so you can kind of tweak any promotions and make sure that you're just really on top of the information that's available. And we also have Kobo Originals, which are a number of books that are made just by the originals team at Kobo. So we often work with authors. You can see between like Talia Hibbert and Nana Malone there to write different types of books. We have our originals teams in Europe as well. They're based in the Netherlands, France, and in Italy. So sometimes we work with authors and translate their books into Dutch, for example, and see how those perform as Kobo originals. So if you're interested in ever writing for Kobo as a Kobo original, email the team and we'll connect you with the originals team and let us know. But it's just a real fun way for us to sort of try and just generate some really good content that people are looking for, and we're really proud of the work that we're doing. The Alexis Hall one was like a super fun book. We talked to him on the podcast as well, and just a really good time to be able to work with authors in this creation aspect, as well as the sort of promotional work that we already do with them a lot of the time. And I mentioned the Kobo Writing Life podcast. So if you haven't subscribed, I definitely would recommend it, or at least search to see what authors we've interviewed. Maybe somebody will jump out at you that you think would be beneficial. But it's a bi-weekly podcast where we feature tips on craft. We talk about industry news. We have author interviews, and we also feature Kobo updates. We hit 300 episodes, so we're over 300 episodes right now. This podcast has been going for 9 years, so there is a wealth of a backlist of content there for you. It's been listened to in over 160 countries, and we have a steady listenership, so we really encourage you to check it out. For the 300th episode, we actually did something special where we interviewed a few of the teams at Kobo, and we sort of followed the trajectory of an ebook and how it was being published. And each team that hits it just sort of gave a little perspective into what they do. So if you're really kind of wanting an additional look behind the curtain, I definitely would recommend listening to episode 300, but also lots and lots of other interviews. And on the flip side, if there's anything that you would like to talk about, maybe you have advice for other authors, maybe there's some new marketing strategy, it's TikTok, maybe you figured out the TikTok algorithm and you want to tell everyone about it, you're welcome to come onto our podcast and talk to us. So you can just email us and let us know. And I mentioned this a bit earlier as well. We also have a blog, which is kobowritinglife.com, and we have a monthly newsletter, and we feature articles about writing craft, different publishing and marketing news updates as well. And the newsletter dives into a different theme, and we find it that we try and balance it as both educational and informational to try and give you an extra piece for being a Kobo Writing Life author. So you can sign up to that and make sure that you're receiving that each month. And I would definitely sort of subscribe to our blog as well. My colleague Terence has been writing some wonderful articles for the blog lately, so you don't want to miss them. And speaking of my colleagues, we have a dedicated team of indie experts. So we are proud of being a small team with this big vision, and we have a great reputation of being one of the most author-friendly platforms out there. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we are very aware of this being a partnership, and we want you to succeed, because when you succeed, we succeed. So I'm really privileged to be able to sort of lead this wonderful team who are very dedicated. They're obsessed with books. They tell me all about the new trends that I'm missing out on by not being on TikTok. But we definitely want to make sure that your books are doing well on our platform. And also any chance that we can spotlight the pets of Kobo Writing Life, we will take that opportunity for sure. So you can follow us on our social channels anywhere that you can think of, to just type Kobo Writing Life, and you should be able to find us there. So thank you so much for letting me talk for a little while. As I mentioned, you can email the team at writinglife@kobo.com for any questions that you have. If there's anything that you wanted to hit me up personally with, you can definitely reach out at tara.cremin@rakuten.com, and I'm happy to chat. And I hope you found this helpful, and enjoy the rest of your event. So thanks so much. Bye.